Welcome to Return on Insights, the show where candid conversations with bold founders and leaders spark actionable insights for your business. I'm David Lindover.
And I'm Erin Abatangelo. Every week, we pull back the curtain with leaders who are scaling teams and shaping the future, sharing the insights that create impact far beyond the bottom line.
Discover how high-performing companies build enduring cultures, inspire teams to think bigger, and turn vision into action. If you see storytelling as your strategic advantage, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Future of Business Leadership podcast, where we dive into how today's leaders can harness technology and innovation to drive sustainable growth. I'm thrilled to introduce our guest, Shampa Bagchi, founder and CEO of ConvergeHub, a trailblazer in CRM and business automation. With over 2 decades at the forefront of Silicon Valley's tech revolution, Shampa has empowered countless organizations to transform complex challenges into opportunities for growth through strategic technology adoption. In this episode, we're going to explore how the role of CRM has evolved from simple databases to intelligent AI-driven platforms that power strategic decision-making and customer-centric leadership. We'll discuss how automation and scalable processes are no longer optional, but essential for businesses aiming to thrive in 2025. Shampa's unique perspective on aligning technology, people, and process will offer actionable insights for leaders ready to future-proof their organizations. Join us as we uncover the strategies, stories, and innovations shaping the next era of business. Welcome, Shampa. How are you today?
Thank you, David, for that wonderful introduction. It's a pleasure to be here with you, an honor to be with your audience today.
That's great, Shampa. Thank you so much for taking time. We're going to roll through. We've got quite a few questions, so we're going to try to cover as much ground as we can. Let's talk about the role of CRM in modern leadership and the evolution of the systems from, database driven to, being expert systems in many respects. How is that evolution proceeding now, and how is CRM changing relationships for businesses?
Absolutely. So before, even starting to answer the question about the role of CRM in a business leadership, let's just think a little bit about the leadership itself. What does the future of leadership look like? And I think some of the qualities, of business leadership and the business leader, as well as the business in itself, going forward, would be the ability to adapt. Adaptability, flexibility is, I think, one of your, primary qualities that a leader needs to have. And of course, along with that, is the ability to adapt to digital transformation, the ability to, technology is changing so fast, and the pace of the change is just going to get faster and faster. And just the ability to adapt and kind of, not get shocked with it is, I think, one of the main criteria. And along with it, there's another side to it too, I think, because there's you have technology, but at the same time, there's AI coming in, and AI is kind of, doing a lot of, your tasks. But at that time, while you're adapting to technology, how do you, maintain your humanness? How do you maintain that empathy? How do you make sure that even while you're doing that and all of that, you don't lose that human side to it? Because the relationships are becoming more and more important in this day and age, and you cannot work in a silo. So in order to build those relationships, you need this empathy. And I think, and while you're doing this, you're like continuously learning. Things are changing all the time. That continuous learning ability is really critical. And these are all areas now that CRM has begun to handle. It was, like you said, CRM started as just a Rolodex, a contact management system. And I have been working with CRM since, it wasn't even called a CRM, since decades. I've seen the entire evolution. So in the beginning, it was just a glorified contact management system. Now, slowly, what we have today are, such advanced features. So, of course, you have your opportunity management, your pipeline tracking, all of that. But I think what's important in today's CRM is the ability to look at the entire customer journey at one place. So you are not really looking at silos. You are looking at, and any good CRM will let you look at the entire customer journey and say, okay, here's my, right from the time when you don't even know the person, because the customer relationship in itself is becoming so fluid, right? You might not know that this is a prospect. You might not know that this is a lead, but that person knows all about you. That person could be writing reviews about you. That person could be, creating videos and LinkedIn posts about you. But you don't know that. So at the same time, just because the business is not your customer anymore, doesn't mean the relationship has ended. It could become a partner. It could become like an influencer, and it could be influencing decisions of others. So how do you maintain that entire ecosystem fluidity? And that's what a CRM does right now. So it's if you look at it, of course, there's this 360-degree relationship management. You're looking at your customer from every angle. You're able to get all the data. You are able to maintain that ecosystem in itself, because you're maintaining your partners, whether it's the influencers, at what stage of the journey is your customer in. You are right there, kind of carrying that person through your entire journey. So that's number one critical, I would say. The other thing that CRM has done, and with all these AI features that you can you are implementing in, it's like personalization at scale, the data and the analytics. The advantage a business is having with that is that you are able to relate your change, any decision that you're driving directly with your ROI. It correlates with your ROI. Well, what's a decision that I did in, last week? How did it impact my ROI? How did it impact my bottom line? So that's what you do with an AI. That's what you do with your, all your analytics. And so used to be that CRM was a sales tool or a marketing tool, but now it's more of a decision-making tool. And that's where CRM has become. It's absolutely critical to your business.
Great perspective. I really appreciated that. You dug in, and I want to dig in one layer further on AI. Of course, everybody's interested. And in the context of CRM systems, how do you see your customers on your platform using the AI capabilities to personalize their marketing and their customer success efforts? So
Absolutely.
Two different sides.
Yes. So you have, at one end, you have your, into my platform in ConvergeHub, and of course, AI is, completely integrated. So you are able to kind of, do your personalization at scale, like you said, in your marketing, using generative AI. You're writing not just, for it could be, you could be having thousands and millions of customers even, but at the same time, you are kind of, personalizing their impact and their output, the message that you're sending out to them. And, and other thing I would say that's really critical that it helps you achieve, with AI in ConvergeHub is that the cross-functional collaboration. So again, like I said, since ConvergeHub is a platform where you are managing your entire customer journey end to end, even while it's taking you through the process, all your departments, is completely aligned with the data set that's coming in. So they are all looking at a single source of truth. And that's what AI and smart automation even does for you. So you are not, it's not like your sales is saying something else where your customer success team is saying completely a different story. So it's at one shot, at the same time, it's all aligned. It's all real time.
Single version of the truth, music to my ears for sure. Okay, let's move on to kind of the scalable business process side of this. So
Sure.
What scalable growth means and why it's critical for long-term success, and obviously how CRM, your platform in particular, would enable that.
Right. So, by definition, what scalable growth would be is where your revenue is growing faster than your costs, right? That's the very definition. So if you're growing, your costs should not increase along with your growth, because then it becomes a linear growth. Your scalable is where you're looking at your exponential growth. So that's by definition, that's what it is. Now, what does it take? Why is it important? Of course, it's so many things. It's you first thing, it's your competitive advantage. It's your, beyond competitive advantage. Right now, it's become a critical, business critical tool that you have to implement beyond just an advantage. Another thing that I would say in today's day and time, why it's really important to have scalable growth, along with the revenue growing up, keeping your costs down, is because it helps you achieve that market resilience. right? So especially in today's market, it's so uncertain. And it kind of gives you that sort of certainty, regardless of what happens, your costs are still down. You can still manage better. So that's another thing that it gives you. And the operational efficiency that comes along with it. So these are all the benefits of a scalable business process. How do you achieve that, and how a CRM will help you achieve that? CRMs, like I said, for by definition, if you're doing a cross-functional single source of truth, then you are all speaking the same language to the customer where it matters. Like, you are not saying different things. So that's when, if you're all looking, it helps you kind of adapt. Your customer success team is aware exactly of your salespeople are saying, or what your marketing teams are saying, because you're able to manage your customer expectations better. And if you are able to, one of the main things, how would you take advantage of your business growth? How do you do your scalable business growth? Is, of course, you're leveraging the technology. You start off, the process itself would be to start off by taking your business processes and kind of breaking them down. You cannot have, if you don't have business processes, if you don't have everything defined, you really cannot automate it. If it's a failure, if you automate a failure, you just fail faster. What do you do with that, right? So first you have to make sure you have a business process that works. Then when you start automating you with your CRM, what you pick is the repetitive tasks that consume a lot of time. Then you start kind of, but which will probably have the minimal impact. So you put that into your CRM, maybe some sort of data entry task, maybe some sort of things that you do, follow-up emails that you send on a regular basis. So those kind of things you start automating. That's what helps in a CRM. That's what first steps you take. And then you slowly kind of get more and more detail. You build in layers of it. You start building as you gain more confidence. Then you start building. You start experimenting. Now you're setting up, more better personalization. You're starting to doing that at scale. You're making sure your departments are being aligned. But at the same time, what's important is that while you're even going through your business process automation things, you do not forget the human elements to it. So you do not forget to put in some checks and balances. You do not expect that technology you set it and forget it. That never works. So put in the checks and balances, put in some escalation rules, make sure that you are reviewing it at every single point of time. And if you can do these steps, the CRM is going to absolutely help you scale your business and take it to the next level.
That's a very detailed answer. Thanks, Shampa. So I want to give you the opportunity to talk a little bit about your platform and why it's special from your perspective, of course. And I'm wondering if you can answer that question maybe in two ways. One in particular is speaking to those companies out there, the smaller companies, maybe 10 to 100 employees, 10 to 75 employees, somewhere in that area that don't operate with a CRM system and do sell product or service. What do you have to say to them vis-a-vis your platform and its secret sauce?
Absolutely. So again, so what I was talking so far was more about a general trend of where the market is going in terms of CRM, what you're able to do in terms of CRM. But my platform, which is ConvergeHub, what it does, it helps you balance, it helps you take you through that entire customer journey. You have that single source of truth within one platform. So what I would say to businesses, especially those small and medium businesses who are probably just exploring a CRM, or who have probably tried a CRM, didn't work, and kind of back down, never went to it again. Probably they even have it hiding somewhere in the closet till date, but haven't really used it. So what I would say is that regardless of what kind of a CRM you're buying, first thing is to use it, right? First thing, of course, if you don't use something, it's not going to work. That's the rule of the game. But why generally I have seen ConvergeHub works for our customers is that, number one, it firstly in itself it contains that single source of truth. So you don't have to go, buy one piece of a software, try and make them work together. Buy another piece for something else, and another piece for your sales automation, something else for your marketing, FAQ somewhere else, your your invoicing somewhere else. Then it's so hard to put them all together. So our secret sauce lies in your ability to manage your entire customer journey, every single customer interaction from one platform. And that's what gives you your competitive advantage, because you can exactly see from the data what's working, what's not. So you can track whether you made this change your customer experience a few days ago. How did that impact your bottom line? So that kind of data and analytics are built in. So small businesses usually think that when you take a CRM, there's two mindsets that I have seen, David. One would be, it's so hard. How would I ever be able to do it? It's a CRM. Now I have to learn this whole new tool. How do I do it? There are all these pieces. I have to get every single piece perfect. That's one mindset. And they just think that I'm not going to just learn, and they forget it. I understand. Being a business owner myself, I understand, because there are so many other things to focus on, right? Something that will take a little bit of time, you tend to put it on the back burner. But what CRM will do is save that time, will help you, get more of that time. But the other mindset, other than that, is that now that I have a CRM, everything should be operated. It should work day one in a perfect way. And in real world, regardless of AI or whatever, that does not happen. You have to have a practical mindset. So, but if you can leave those two mindsets aside, and then just take CRM, start small, do integrate a little bit, and then you see that working, put a little bit more, look at your business process, see which one do I do first, and if this doesn't work, how do I know, how do I improve it? So that mindset of continuous improvement, if you take and put that with ConvergeHub, it works wonders. I have seen businesses go I have seen businesses literally with 800% increment in ROI within a year. So I literally have seen that it works. But you do have to put in that mindset into it.
That was great. That's great. Thank you, Shampa, very much. Any final remarks that you'd like to make before we call it a show?
I would say is, in today's day and age, it's so very easy to kind of, look at what's going on in the world, looking at so much changes coming at you like with a fire hose, and try to drink it all and then just get demotivated with it, what's going on in technology. I would just say, look at it, forget the noise, just look at what your business needs and be practical. Look at just that much and try to go with it. Start small, keep building on it. Before everything, you'll see that your business is optimized, regardless of all the noise that's going on.
Good advice. Thank you, Shampa. Appreciate your time today.